Alright, I just had to step going off that bus. So anyway, the vehicle parked up in the bus stop. Alright, as soon as the bus crossed the street, got in front of the bus to pull up in the bus stop. Okay? Is that my bus? Oh, okay, yeah, look at it now, yeah. Yeah. I guess they wanted to use the color blue, right? Yeah, there you go. 140720. Right? There's a reason why, like I said, you pull up in the bus stop, right? They'll always do stuff like that. Again, he wasn't waiting for nobody except for me. And then when he saw me, now he wanted to drive off. Okay? Because again, that is what they do. This is what they do, and they continue to engage. Right? Using colors. Using vehicles. They got license plate numbers, colors of vehicles, right? Color psychology, right? It's all part of the brainwashing, and it is what it is. It is brainwashing. They can call it thought reform. They can call it persuasion programming. It is brainwashing. These are just words that they try to use to sanitize what it is that they do. Alright, so, look at them. Alright, so why are they doing this? Usually when they do stuff like this is because, again, like I said, when they microwave me and Pam, particularly her, you know, like tonight she was wearing a green dress, right? And so when I went into the kitchen, you know, she's standing there, whereas before she's wearing like black or maybe blue, she would turn her back, right? But she stood there looking at me, no hand signals, do nothing like that, right? Then I went back into the living room, and she came into the foyer, you know, just to stand there, right, and turn around and walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like the same thing. So again, they do the microwave, radio wave frequency, silent sound to manipulate her and me, right, in order to try to get me to stay. Okay. So like I said, so you know, she would like. Then I get up to go into the bathroom, and she goes and she walks, and then she goes in front of her bedroom. You know what I'm saying? You know? And I'm like, you know, yeah. I've been through that shit. I already test out my theory, and you already showed your hands. So no thank you. You know what I'm saying? No thank you. I'm not falling into that trap. You know? And then what was it? Sunday, I think? Sunday? You know, she was again walking around the house in her underwear. She had on some pink, you know, like boy shorts, underwear. You know, I go into the kitchen, and she just opened up the fridge door and bend over in front of me, and I'm just like, I just turned around and walked back out. You know, because they do it on purpose. She do it on purpose. And then as I was saying, what was I? I think I was going to do laundry, right? Because I said to her I was going to was that Friday? That was Friday. Yeah, I did. No, Sunday. I did do laundry Sunday. I did some. I think I did. Yeah, I did some laundry Sunday, right? Or was it Friday? Anyway, I can't. I know I did it Friday, but I'm not sure if I did Sunday. But anyway, so oh no, I think I went to remind her about doing laundry, right? And you know, you know, like she's sitting on her bed again, and you know, flashing me, right? Open up her legs wide, flashing me and stuff like that. I was like, listen, yeah, you know, this is the shit that they do, right? So they can say, okay, oh well, he, you know, that's just going on in your head. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, listen, I know the game y'all play. Y'all played it with her too many times, and not going for it this time. You know, and so that's why I've been, you know, I mean, you guys, I've done this before. I've done it for an entire month, and they still engage in the same behavior. They will target me severely and stuff like that using the cops, using the New York Predator Department, right? And the coercive threats and stuff like that of being assassinated and all this shit. And I just like I said, I get emboldened, right? So I record more, right? I want to expose more of it, okay? So like I said, I'm always going to be in my fight mode, right? I'm always going to be in my fight mode. No, you know what I'm saying? Like once I start to figure out like how they use the technology and how, like, because I know a lot of things. So there's certain things that they know that they can no longer do anymore. But what they'll do is that they will use moments when you're vulnerable, right? Like I talk about, like for example, like when I'm sleeping, and when I just get up, they will bombard me with a series of noise, helicopter flying overhead, ambulances, police, predator police sirens, stuff like that, and then being hit with radio wave frequency where I'm hearing the sirens, intracranially, right? You know what I'm saying? As opposed to also they do like a combination, so they try to sneak it in, right? So they'll do the outside noise, but then they'll use the microwave radio frequency to beam the sirens, where I hear it intracranially, okay? And they'll do it for like a short period of time, right? It's like it's like short bursts, and then that's it. Whereas before they used to do it a lot, and that's where I used to get the headaches and stuff like that. So, I do have a slight, like when I'm being targeted heavily, I have a slight headache, but it's not too bad. But it's when they start using silent sound to irradiate my head, right? That's when it's like it's excruciating, because when those pain comes, it is tremendously painful. Okay, literally tremendously painful. Literally, I'm like in tears. Okay, and I'm like screaming out in pain. And as I'm screaming out in pain, they're using their sirens to try to silence me. Right? That's how cruel these people have what things that they've done to me. Right? And then trying to act like if they have not damaged me, not only neurologically, because I have the medical examination and the MRIs and the brain scan to show it and prove it, but also psychologically as well. All right. And then on top of that, we'll talk about what is it? Where they can beam, they can make you dream about certain things. So like, for example, like usually when you sit with my parents, I sleep over, they will bombard me. As soon as I get into the bed, they will bombard me with noise, constantly. And what do you think that does to a person? I can't sleep. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so at those moments, they try to, manipulate you, right? At those very vulnerable moments. So like I said, I'm not falling for that. You're not gonna, because at times I know that they're controlling her, like when she does certain things. So I don't want to be, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna be doing all that stuff, right? But like I said, study what it is that they've done and what they continue to do. Okay. Do I hear the siren? Oh, yeah, I hear. I knew I hear sirens out there. But again, it wasn't like it was in a short burst sirens. Okay. I think that's it. That's the bus coming. Yeah. Hopefully it's not a bus. Hopefully. But but this is what they do. And like I tell all the time, I said, listen, I've been trying to warn you for years. I've told you about this stuff, and I say you choose not to listen. Another form of noise campaign. Another form of noise campaign. Like I said, they gotta engage in some form of noise campaign. Okay. Now she's sitting in the car, right? She's sitting in the car. She can shut the alarm off. Okay, but no. Oh, look at this shit. Not in service. I put my book back down now. Because I might have to wait. And I left early too. It was a little after 8. I think I left around about 8:30. So it's not too late. But as you guys see, it's funny, for the past 2 days I've been getting the buses, one after the next. Okay, but like I say, eventually, and look, there's no one out here now. And I left early too. Remember yesterday, you guys, if you look at the video from yesterday at this bus stop, plenty of people here. No one's here. You know what I'm saying? It's only me. Right? As I said, it's only me. You start your approach department headed in the background. Right? And so, yeah, like I said, but this is what they do. And they think they're gonna get away with it, right? Because why? Because they got a gun in the badge, they got the resources to do whatever they want to do, right? To engage in covert manipulation, covert warfare. Okay? And like I said, the churches are to be held responsible, particularly these religious fanatics who belong to a religious organization, and how they engage in these things so that they can use cursive threats in order to manipulate you into being Christian, right? Into joining their cults, okay? Their death cult. Christianity is a death cult. But like I said, once you know the truth, you can never go back to the lie, no matter what they do. All right? At least if you really value the truth, right? If you really value the truth, like I said, they can't use money to control me. They can't. Okay? Right? If Christianity claims to be so truth and is the truth, right? Why are they afraid of the truth? Right? Why are they afraid of the truth? Why don't they go read about how their religion was formed? How this version of Christianity was formed? Why don't they go read about what early Christians believed, who they worship? Because they will find out that they didn't worship Jesus. They worshiped Serapis, which is the Greek, the Greco-Egyptian god created by Ptolemy I, okay, who killed a lot of the Egyptian high priests and high priestess because they wouldn't make him into a god. So what did he do? He killed them and shut down all the temples. And there were some that didn't want to die, so they made him into a god. All right? Fear has always been used against others because tyrants knows how to use fear. And again, like I said, I am willing to die for what I know. Okay, but are you willing to die for what you believe in? Because there's a difference. There is a difference between believing and knowing. Okay. Like I said, you approach the department. I said there's a difference between believing and knowing. They use the side. There is a difference, and they may try to use their coercive threats to say, well, if you think this is real, I don't think this is real. I know this is real, right? I know this is real. What is being done? You can't fool me. Okay? You can't fool me. All right? They've been, like I said, once you start to read them about Zertzazum, Pro, the U.S. government experimentation programs, right? The study into the genetics of black children, particularly black boys. Go read them about these things. They were deep into researching our DNA. It's the U.S. government. These are liberals. Cities like Baltimore, New York, Chicago, L.A. All right? That's what they call the violent initiative. The violent initiative was created against, for black children, black boys in particular. Like I said, so when Hillary Clinton came when she talked about super predators, that was cognitive warfare on black children because they knew exactly what they were going to do. They knew that they were going to continue to degrade the black family. There's going to be an increase of single mothers in the home with children with no fathers, right? The police department was going to engage in lies to raid apartments where you have children and women, right? To create fear into the minds of children and women, right? That they were following young rap stars. They were planting snitches and covert agents in their entourage to get them in trouble, to manipulate them, right? They were conditioning us, right? They were drugging us in the clubs. Okay, didn't even know about it. like I said, I remember there a couple of times when I was younger, and I used to go out, and I just had like I drink Bailey's with milk, and I had like 2 of them things. That's nothing, right? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's nothing. Like really, it's nothing, right? And I used to feel so weird that I couldn't drive. I used to just lay down, get in my car. And it was the summertime too, so it was a good thing. Crack the window open and go to sleep. Right? I mean, at least I had the presence of mind to know not to drive. Right? So they were doing these things. And then I read about Operation Climax, where they were drugging unsuspected people in clubs and bars. You know what I'm saying? This shit still goes on today. There are people that, they are Negropeans and Sambos and Sambinas who are being paid, right, to operate covertly in the black community, okay, to destroy black men and black women. They're being paid. I know they're being paid, okay? And on top of that, you know, just like it's just a Zoom, if there's a woman that they're interested in or a man that they're interested in, right, they will do everything to ruin that relationship if that person is married or in a relationship with somebody else. All right? So we have to be aware of these things. You know, like I said, you know, these Trump MAGA voters, you know, these farmers and shit like that who voted for Trump and all this stuff, he told you what he was going to do. Right? But you had illegal migrants working on your farms. Now they're not showing up, right? And now, you know, you're going to be bankrupt because you have nobody to work on the field to harvest your crops or plant your crops. And this woman literally saying that, she was like, you know, he told us what he was going to do, and we still voted for him. Because in cognitive warfare, right, you don't see the warfare that's going on, but when the end results happen, you feel the effect of it. It's always going to be negative. So they couldn't, because again, it's caused confusion. They couldn't comprehend, right, the financial toll it will have on their farming business. Okay, they couldn't even understand that. All right, so like I said, you know, Elon Musk and Trump in the New York Police Department. All right, Elon Musk and Trump, they have engaged in the manipulation of people within the society like never before. Right? And the Democrats have been doing it to black people too, and Hispanic people. Look at every city in which you have a large black population. Okay? And look at the people. Look at black people. Particularly black women. Look at how they behave. Look at what they say, how they act, what it is that they do. Right? How they would attack older women like Felicia Rashad, who talks about, you know, how these young women are dressing today. It's like leaving nothing to the imagination. You know, they will defend the ratchetness 1,000%. Right? Because they have been conditioned by smoking weed. I can smell the shit. Or it's transit. It's transporting. Every once in a while.
I was saying to me, it looked like you was eating. That's all.
Anyway, let me move out of there. Smoking that weed too. What the fuck they having that shit? You know what I'm saying? But this is what they'll do, right? Shit like that. You know, when you see these videos of you know, people smoking, giving people cigarette or marijuana to smoke, all of a sudden they start tripping out because they're putting shit in it and don't tell the person. This is how they got millions of black people hooked on drugs. Okay? All right? People are being conditioned to do stuff like that. So you got to understand that, right? We have to realize what's going on, what they have been doing, and you know, teach it to the young people. We cannot turn our backs on young people. I won't do it. That's why I continue to do my videos. That's why I continue to talk to the young people on my block. Or if I have a conversation with somebody, I let them know. Right? And that's what they don't want, because they don't want us to know. They don't want us to have the knowledge and the information. Right? They want to keep us dumbed down. They want to keep us as believers. All right. So when I talk, I think the video that they had ended that I couldn't save it. I was talking about the Navy. The Navy has a laser, right? What is the name? What is it? Guys, excuse me again. When they're talking to me like this, my memory is so bad. But anyway, and I was saying that I don't believe that they are laser weapons. I know that they are laser weapons. That's the difference between me and believers. Believers, they can say, well, I only laser weapons only in the movies. Okay, I don't believe they exist. Okay, well they have laser weapons. Okay, right? They have laser weapons. They develop laser weapons. The U.S. Navy. Okay, and I'm sure they're working on those handheld ones too. You know, they're just not as powerful because they need an energy source that can be shrunk down to provide the available power, so you can operate to where it can literally kill somebody. Right? You can go through somebody, or what have you, disintegrate somebody, or what have you. Right? Okay. Look at the advance in robotics. Look at the advance in robotics. Right? China has matched or even surpassed the U.S. Particularly Boston Dynamics, which is a robotics company. They came out first with the robot dog. Then you start to see them making robots that can run, jump, and all this stuff. But the Chinese have robots that can do front flips. Not only can they do back flips, but they can do front flips. They can walk like human beings. Okay? And they can do karate. And they can cook. Right? But we have, these are things that are coming down the pipeline. And it's going to come in soon. It's not 100 years from now, 50 years from now. I'm talking about in the next decade. You'll be able to walk into a showroom and buy a robot. And that robot is going to cook for you, going to clean for you. A humanoid robot. Not that shit that vacuum up your floor, okay? Right? Not that shit with the big body that follows you around with a face or what have you. I'm talking about a humanoid robot. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, again, and guess what? A lot of these jobs, fast food joints or what have you, they're going to have robots. Amazon warehouse. They don't need the warehouse worker. They're going to have robots. Right? There's like I said, just look at what it is that they do, particularly here in New York City and Chicago, have you. They're no longer building affordable housing. They're building shelters, homeless shelters. Right? I've been saying this for how long? A long time now. Did the person leave? Okay, they're left. See? Like I told you, they come. That's why I move. Right? Because they got this person coming here smoking weed and shit like that, blowing that shit my way, and I'm like, nope. I moved from that shit. See? Look, and they left. Right? Because I moved. Because I went over there. That's why. You know what I'm saying? So people don't, like I said, nigga peers don't want to listen. They want to be in the church. They're so in love with white Jesus. Okay? Not paying attention to what's going on. All right? Because they are fragile of mind. Right? And again, it's not their fault. Right? When they see a strong-minded black man and black woman, they have to destroy it. When they see a black man and black woman who have dreams and aspirations to build companies to employ black people, they got to control it, control the individuals. And they'll do it in many ways. They'll try to set you up. They'll engage covertly to set you up, manipulate you, use technology that you didn't even know at the time exists, right? And many people don't even think it exists, right? Go into a church and tell the pastor, tell this congregation that the U.S. government have weapons that can control your mind, right? And they'll tell you, no one can control my mind except for God. I wish I could bring a hypnotist or a mentalist in there that can really fuck with their mind. You know what I'm saying? Just to give them a wake-up call. Because I think that's what we need. Right? To see the truth right in our face. Okay? Because they think God's the only one that can control their mind. They got another thing coming. Alright? They got another thing coming. I'm telling you. So when I talk about, I read certain scriptures in the Bible, when I talk about in this, where it says my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because they have become too religious and too superstitious, that's who we are today. Religious and superstitious. You know, I remember as a teenager going to church with my mom and coming home late at night. You couldn't even walk in the door, you know, frontwards. You have to turn around and walk in the door, right? But that was a normal thing for us growing up. But then when I look back at it, it was insane, you know. That's because superstition is something that we are taught. You know, it's ingrained with us. So we don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? When I say we don't know anything, meaning that we don't know anything about the real world, what's going on out here. Right? You know, like my kids, like my sons, I send them information about COVID. I send them, articles on different personality types. You know, I send them articles on nutrition, technology, you know what I'm saying, psychology, the things that they need to know. All right? The things that they need to know. Like I said, I buy you melatonin, and I send you articles on melatonin, and I want you to read it. And I send them another article, and I made sure you read it, because I said, melatonin is not only for sleep, but melatonin is one of the most important substance that you can, because your brain produces it, your body produces it, but with all this radio wave and microwave frequency passing through us, it disrupts our ability to sleep, right? It affects that. So you take the melatonin, you can get a good sleep, right? And it has other health benefits, particularly for black people, right? So black people need to understand that, particularly for black people. Just like vitamin D. Vitamin D is crucial for us, right? But we don't, we don't push it enough because, again, the people around us don't know. All right. So like I said, there's certain things that we have to educate our children about, and it just can't all just be about religion. You need to educate them on politics, on science. If you don't know science, then you need to go find out. Do the research. Right? Like I said, in the 1970s, they had already created the microchip to where they can control people's emotions and control their behavior. And you're referring to the department. So they showed up tonight, man. Yeah. Look at her doing the hand signal. Yeah. Whatever. Don't hide your face. You alright? You guys are emboldened. You got a badge and a gun, but you hiding your face. Come on now. And then you want to say I'm scared, right? Yeah, at times I am scared. It's a normal human emotion. All right? It's a survival mechanism that's built into us. All right? But I can be scared, and I can also observe what's going on. All right? And I can also defend myself while being scared. Always remember that. Anyhow, yeah, like I said, so, again, in the 1970s, Dr. Jose Delgado created the stem receiver, right? They already knew which part of the brain that they can turn off to stop aggression. You know what I'm saying? So they, so like I said, now, with the microchip, they want to lie to you and make it seem like, you have to have an operation to, drill through your skull. That's the private sector. The U.S. government has already done all that shit, okay, in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, I'm exposing their shit. Right? So the U.S. government had already done all of these things in the 60s and 70s. All right? The 1970 article from the New York Times, what kind of human would you like to create? Dr. Jose Delgado, like I said, if you read it, he talks about how the stem receiver is so small that it's barely noticeable underneath the skin of the shoulders of a rhesus monkey. And he said we are currently working on an even smaller one. Right? So, like I said, the U.S. Department of Defense, DARPA, the CIA, right? They're at least 2 decades ahead of the private sector. So what you see that's going on now in the private sector with microchip, they're already 15, 20 years ahead. Okay, and in technology, okay, that's a long time, right? That's a long time. I mean, imagine how it's in 2017, right? They were developing the 10 nanometer node. No, it was a 12 nanometer node. right? The next year it was 10 nanometers, right? That's 2018, right? Then they went down to 7 nanometers, right? Now today, right? They're at 3 nanometers. Do you know how small that is? And you look at a microchip, as small as it is, we're talking about something like 50 to 60 billion transistors on that chip. Okay? All right? On that chip. Okay? I'm not even talking about the interconnector. Right? None of that. I'm talking about the chip itself. 60 billion transistors on a chip that is around 4 or 3 nanometers. How many of us know these things? Right? We are just believers, right? We want to believe in religion. When it comes to science, we don't know shit. This is why we're failing. This is why we continue to go to the bottom. And they know what it is that they're doing. They're dumbing us down, keeping us away from the things that we need as a people to progress. Anybody needs to progress, right? So when you look at the field of psychiatry, right? You look at education in terms of advanced degrees in science, mathematics, right? You look at these things. Black people are in the single digits. And I'm not even talking about the 7, 8, and 9. We're at the 4 and 5s, right? Single digits compared to our numbers in this country. They deliberately do that, but we don't see it as such. This is why, again, our children are failing in school because of the cognitive warfare waged against black men and black women. But they don't even understand it. They don't know. They're conditioned to engage in negative behavior, ratchetness, because as Dr. Amos Wilson says, you have to condition black people to be dysfunctional and to make their dysfunction a normalcy within their community, within their family, within themselves. And then what's going to happen? Every generation after that, they're going to be even more dysfunctional. So for the past 3 decades, black children, as we go into adult, we become more and more dysfunctional, right? And there isn't enough black psychiatrists and black psychologists to say we need to develop a program to which we can reverse our psychological condition, right? Cognitive warfare. You don't see it. You don't recognize it. But it's being done to you, right? Where you become the weapon. They turn you into a weapon against yourself and each other. And because we are conditioned deeply in our subconscious, and our subconscious control our behavior, is the reason why you see what's going on today within black men and black women and black children. All this noise, right? They don't tell you that noise, particularly during the daytime in school hours, that it affects the cognitive ability of our children. We don't know that, right? So we don't make a big deal about it with all the noise that's going on. But you go to around the white school, the white community, the white suburb, you don't hear all this noise. Why? Because they already have the FAA studies on these things. But because we are ignorant, we tend not to know. Again, this is why I do my videos, just to teach people what's going on. All right? We are busy surviving, I understand that. But for those of us who understand, we have to start teaching people, particularly young people, what's going on. Right? One of the things that they did was to sever the relationship between the older black people and the younger black people. In no society is future generation is going to survive if the older generation don't teach them what to do. Teach them how to behave. Right? How to act, how to think, not believe. But too much of us are believers as opposed to thinkers. And this is why we continue to be at the bottom. Right? We in church on a Sunday, but we won't participate in doing our children's homework. We let social media raise them, just as how television raised us back in the day. And social media is a playground for white supremacy engaging in cognitive warfare. But because, again, we are people of believers, right? And we're so religious, and the Bible tells us our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge because they become too religious, too superstitious. And black people are the most religious people on this planet. White people gave us Christianity, and they don't even believe that shit anymore. Less than half of white people around the world believe in Christianity. But black people, particularly black women, 86% of black women believe in that shit. But they don't act, or I should say their behavior is contrary to what they say that they believe in. Because it sounds good, right? It becomes a cultural epithet. We say shit like, God is good. Go read your goddamn Bible. God is not good all the time, all right? God is also evil. And they'll tell you, no, he's not. Go read your Bible. God said, I created the darkness and the light. I created good, I created evil. I, the Lord, create all these things. So they don't even read the goddamn Bible, right? And that's the thing. We are still being programmed with the slave Bible, the slave passages, but we don't read the entire Bible. You read the entire Bible, you read it properly, in its proper context. And again, you have to know how to read it. You have to know how to read it in the first person, second person, third person, in order for you to get a proper context of what it is that you're reading. But we're uneducated. We have been dumbed down. Our degrees that we have think we call ourselves highly educated, but yet we can't solve our own problem. Right? We graduate with PhDs and masters, and we can't even solve our own problems in our community. That's not education. That's indoctrination, because we get hired by white companies to solve their problems. Right? But we can't solve our own problems. Dr. Amos Wilson, The Falsification of the African Consciousness. It's a book that every black person should read, as well as the other books that he has. The Developmental Psychology of the Black Child. Right? So you can be a better parent and understand how important and how intelligent your children are before they go into the school system. Anyhow, talk to you guys next week.